Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's Carl here. Back again with another episode. I got a subject here in mind. It's homeless veteran programs, and I've been doing a little bit of research, as usual, and just trying to come up with a good idea for somebody else who is a veteran and they're in a situation where they're homeless, right? So homeless veteran programs are great, right? But how do you get off the streets as fast as possible and into housing? Because we're looking for the most efficient way to get into something so we can minimize the our traveling around in our cars, wasting gas. Because what I'm learning, because I'm going through it myself. I'm homeless at the moment, and it's not easy to use your time efficiently if you don't know where to look. And so I want to impart on you a few suggestions, some practical advice. None of this like, go onto Google and look up places in your area. We don't want to do that, all right? We want to have contacts because contacts are everything. If there's anything I've learned in self-improvement, it is that contacts, they equal they contracts lead to con- contacts lead to contracts. I learned that from Grant Cardone. So Grant Cardone is one of my huge. I admire him so much. He's helped me out so much in my life. And so contacts. If there's anything I've learned, it's that contacts are everything. All right. So what I would do is, so in this particular episode, we're talking about veterans, right? It's a lot different if you don't have a resource of contacts for for if you're not a veteran, it's a lot more challenging. And we'll do another episode on that one later. But for right now, take what you can from this. So veterans, it all comes down to it's who you know. So in the beginning, especially if you're scrambling for housing, you need to start, knocking on doors type of thing, or just, basically picking up the phone. You're going to get a bigger return on investment, I think, if you just pick up the phone and start making some calls, explaining your situation. Like, for example, I didn't want to be in the homeless shelters. I thought that was disgusting. So, like, I was like, that's gross, man. That's not even good for my health. Like, that's actually worse because now you're with a bunch of other people who are, like, not even, I don't know, everybody's different. But I would say for a good part of them, they don't really care to move on with their life. But for me, if you're like me, man, I'm trying to scramble. I'm trying to get into that next phase of my life as fast as possible. So, you know, it's easy. So, yeah, you want to have contacts. You want to start writing these down. For me, it's a database. For you, I have no idea where you're at in your life, but I would say get an Excel spreadsheet and just start writing down these names. You need to start getting organized. It's a lot easier. And then what I would do is I would take that database or that spreadsheet, and I've given this a lot of thought, but you want to start looking for locality. So Utah is where I'm at. I'm going through it. So what I do is I start looking around in my contacts of everybody who's in Utah. That's the first thing. And then, as I'm scanning through, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, well, there is this many people that live like in Salt Lake versus like Provo or someplace down south where they really can't help me. Right. So, and that's going to be based on your situation. So I'm kind of doing some thinking here. And the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have that telephone number. I like personal telephone numbers. It's a better contact for me is someone who has known me for a while, who I have a relationship with. It's sometimes though, I think like for me, I've had to make a lot of new contacts with people, especially at the VA hospital. And so that made it a little bit more. I mean, it's great. You're filling up your pipeline, of people that can help you out. Yeah, so the next thing is as you're looking through your spreadsheet or your database, you're trying to identify, and this is something I've given some thought to, but you're looking at the category. So you have locality, which is Utah, or city or whatever, but you also have how can they help you? And typically, what I'm noticing is I want my contacts who are in real estate specifically. I want real estate contacts. I want housing. I want temporary housing. I want homeless. So I'm looking up these keywords in my database to see exactly who can help me. And I think that's really speeding up the process. I'm not going through like alphabetical order or anything like that and just making random calls. But I'm looking for, so as we're talking right now, I'm looking for specific keywords of people that can give me assistance. Another good one is like brokerage, or no, what was it? Property managers. That's a great one. Property managers is solid. The reason I say that is because these individuals typically you can do an exchange. I'm all getting all excited just thinking about it now, but it's true. If you have an exchange opportunity where you work on their land in exchange to live rent free, that's a golden opportunity. So it's not always money, especially if you're like me in a hard situation. You can look for property managers in your area that they usually like work for banks or something, but sometimes you just have straight up property management companies, aside from banks, or what is it called? Real estate. I'm confusing banks with real estate. But a lot of times, real estate brokers know property managers that are looking for people to work the land in exchange for rent, to live rent free. All right, so if we're getting like right down into it, this is the reason I was chopping it all up with all that stuff about finding or looking in your database and all that stuff is to save you time. Because what I learned, and I learned the hard way, is that you are going to be like on waiting lists and stuff before you actually get into these programs. Because one of the mistakes that I made was thinking I was just going to get right in. The VA hospital was just going to have a bed waiting for me, and that's not necessarily the case. There's always that vetting process. So you're gonna have to be mindful of that waiting period. So like I said, it's been about 3 weeks now. Has it been? It's been over 3 weeks. I'm going on almost 4 weeks of being homeless, and I still haven't gotten into anything. But I've had multiple interviews, but I've been able to make contacts, and I've been able to label them accordingly, like Utah housing, VA hospital, recent contacts that, I'm able to kind of like sort through that. So this is huge, everybody. You have a database, you have a powerful system in front of you. These are people that can help you. Typically, they know who you are. It's just important to be able, or to be mindful that it's going to take time. And as long as you have people that can help you, like I've had friends that I've been able to reach out to who have seen me on social media, been pointing me in the right direction and being able to offer resources. I always make the funny little joke that I'm the busiest homeless person you're ever going to meet because, like I was saying earlier, I'm scrambling. So I have my own business like this with podcasting, but typically when I'm at my computer, I'm writing articles. I'm not recording any audio. And so right now, it just appears that I am doing everything I can in addition to being homeless and finding housing to make money. Another thing, too, that I want to mention is it's a domino effect out there. You have to really stay on top of what you're doing, especially when it comes to internet activity, paying bills, responding to phone calls, making sure your devices are charged properly, making sure that you're using every bit of time as useful as possible in addition to quality sleep. I understand that it's very challenging. I know with me having PTSD and being hyper aware all the time, it's hard for me to find a good location to fall asleep, right? Because you're kind of like, I don't know, looking over your shoulder, to make sure the place is safe for you to sleep and stuff. So I just want to say that you got to make sure that stuff is charged up all the way and that you're staying on top of it because it is a domino effect. I'll just give you a quick example. I was in Ogden, Utah, and I was trying to pay gas, buy gasoline, and I was using one one particular mobile app, and all of a sudden it just didn't work, and then it just like what it felt is that it shut down my entire app with all my money and everything. That is what I mean by a domino effect. It just ruins your whole day. Or for example, another one is like you thought you had it in order that you were going to pay your cell phone bill, and then like for me, I'm with AT&T. So say I didn't pay my AT&T bill, just for some reason the money wasn't in the account. Then it just shuts down the whole operation. Or another great thing that comes to mind actually is keeping track of your belongings. I make mistakes. I'm human. But there have been times when I've been able to correct myself and say, hey, Carl, what you did right there probably wasn't the best idea. All it takes is one situation for you to lose it. So like imagine if I just left my bag like at Starbucks on the bench, and all of a sudden I come back from the restroom and it's gone. Everything, my laptop is just wiped away. You know what I mean? So you have to, in these types of situations, it's really important that you reduce your mistakes. The cost is just too great. Yeah, and I've had some really good days here, and I'm grateful for them. But I never take my eye off the ball, and that is making sure that to the best of my knowledge, reducing the cost. Meaning, let's try to avoid getting injured. Let's avoid trying to have confrontations. I know we can fight, but let's try to avoid as much as possible. We just don't want to create any more problems or increase the number of problems if we don't have to. Because remember, we're trying to find a place that we can put our head at night. And we're trying to move forward in life, not backwards. And it's this teaching that has allowed me to get a little bit more intentional about my day. I do wake up with a sense of purpose. I start fine tuning the way that I approach my day, whether it's looking at the things I need to do. I think we just have to keep in mind that we're looking for programs specifically for homeless people and veteran related. And it's not going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of overwhelmingly amount of resources. And sometimes you just have to know when some are more important than others. Like you just have to call your shot and take it. And so that's what I've been able to do. But really keeping things tight into one location the best you can is really important. Unless that person's willing to pay for your gasoline to get there or offer a ride sharing program or get you like have a shuttle or something, it's just really important to make sure that you're using your time wisely as we're looking for programs. I want to take this moment to acknowledge people that are on the other end who are providing these resources for homeless people. And that's why I am making this episode, I think, is because I want people to see it's a little bit more urgent than what appears, textbook wise, like step one, step two, because we're talking about hunger. We're talking about resources. We're talking about energy, and there's only a finite amount. And if I had one wish, it's that there was different kinds of housing that we could somehow put us in, something overnight. Like I've been talking to a few friends, and it's just mind blowing that with all the resources and the attention on suicide and stuff like that, I'm starting to think it's because nobody wants to go to a homeless shelter that is disgusting. And I'm using that word probably lightly because it's more than disgusting. It's gross, man. I didn't even want to get out of my car. So that's how like gross that is, man. That's more detrimental. Anyway, I'm saying that there needs to be different, like somehow there needs to be different categories of housing for people that you can kind of gauge that like they're taking their life seriously. I don't know if that's prejudice. I don't know what the heck that looks like, but there needs to be something, man, because that's all I need. Is like you give me like 6 months, man, and I'll have my business going again, and I'll be able to find my own place. And then, so there's people like waiting on, claims, like VA claims and stuff. So I'm just saying that it's easy to be on the outside looking in, but until you go through it, like I am right now, and putting yourself in my shoes, then you'll really start understanding like how we need to adapt the program, right? I understand it's all clinical. There's case intake managers. I get all that. And so I just want to shine on you if there's anything in your power that you can do. I understand that we can't always change anything or everything, but if you're in a position to make that change, I hope you know that we need immediate, healthy, and quality facilities. So as we near the end of this episode, we still have a little bit more to talk about, but as we near the end of this one, I want to invite you to take out your wallets and send me some money, baby, because I am starving. I need something in my system. I need some shelter. I need some gas. I need a massage. Dude, this is a lot of stress. So I put a lot of effort into this. I have a great attitude, as you can see, as I'm going through this. I'm not complaining. It may not be my fault, as I've learned, but it is my problem, and I'm doing what I can to get through it. So I'm definitely reaching out today. If you're out there, man, send me some money, because you know what? I appreciate it. I appreciate every little bit. I don't complain. I just keep on trying, one day at a time, and I'm just so grateful for everybody who has helped me this far. And so I want to take this opportunity to invite you to take out your wallets today and just make a massive donation to one of those links in the show notes. And I'm being charismatic here, but I really am grateful, and I appreciate it. I hope that you can help me out. I love seeing this. It fuels me. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This was not a stunt. I really am homeless. I just had to learn the hard way about surrounding myself with good people versus the latter.